All right, we are here with Nick. Talks everything. Nick, are you ready to talk about Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and the Final Testament at WrestleMania 40?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Is this the kind of best scenario for this? I don't know. I guess it's a mid-card SmackDown feud. It's kind of been
Yeah.
like a lukewarm one, so to speak. But I think that they adding the street fight, calling it a Philly street fight, gives this feud and match a chance at WrestleMania. What's your overall thoughts on this kind of kerfuffle we got going on here?
See, I do think the fact that it's a street fight will make it fun, like at least for WrestleMania, and it's hard not to have fun when the Street Profits are in a match. But in my opinion, I feel like the only reason this match exists is just to get Bobby Lashley on the WrestleMania card because he missed last year and everybody was mad about it.
So last year he kind of got screwed because of the Bray Wyatt fallout a little bit, and
Oh yeah.
that was his scheduled feud. They didn't come up with anything, so he won the Andre, and he went up and posed. So
Oh
that was his
yeah.
WrestleMania payday. So yeah, he's
WrestleMania moment.
definitely deserves this spot here.
Yeah, I do like Bobby Lashley, and I feel like they did go in like the only thing they've really been building up for him is this feud between the Final Testament. I believe that's this group's name, and
Yeah, Final Testament.
you could have you could have had a singles match between Bobby and Karrion, but I don't even really like that as a SmackDown match, let alone a WrestleMania match. But I think
Yeah.
making it this big old street fight will be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, Nick, I know you're a little young, but are you familiar with Velocity? Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Cross would be a Velocity match.
Oh man, yeah, that was like the C show back in the day.
Like 2006.
My opinion on Karrion Cross, like, it's just so weird because they're doing all the right stuff with him. He has good video packages and stuff like that, but like I just can't bring myself to like him that much. I don't know why. I don't know how you
It's
feel about it.
Well, he's definitely Triple H's boy. If you want to look at the NXT run he had in 2012, 2020, right? Into
Oh yeah.
2021, that whole show was built around him. That the final days of Black and Gold was Karrion Cross season for sure. So
Yeah.
Triple H definitely sees something in him. And I think there is something within him, but I think it's kind of like one of those things that doesn't come across particularly well on TV, or he
Yeah.
or us have yet to discover what's ever in him, because I think there's something there. Like, he has an it factor. He definitely overacts a shitload. Character wise, it's kind of hit or miss there. In ring, so to speak, he doesn't necessarily like taking bumps, it seems. And
Yeah.
if he's going in there against a smaller guy, he probably looks a little bit better. Why he had some decent NXT runs, but the WWE main roster is full of guys like Bobby Lashley stature, if not bigger. And if he's not going to be throwing those guys around, and he's definitely going to be able to take bumps for those guys, so it's just like he needs to find a sweet spot. My assumption, or my kind of feeling on Karrion Cross, is that he's necessarily kind of like a tag guy, so to speak.
Yeah.
He has some decent offense. He could come in for a spot or two, and he has enough character traits to kind of add to a tag team, but to stand alone, I don't know. And he even has the girl. Scarlett Bordeaux is fantastic in her role, looks the part, and so on and so forth. And they have natural charisma and chemistry as they are married, but it just, at this time, it doesn't really translate on screen from a WWE TV standpoint. So I definitely feel the same sentiment with you, but I think there's something there. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, me too. That's why I feel so like confused because and I feel like whenever you said overact, I feel like that's the perfect word for him. I've been
Yeah.
looking for that word for a while, but he has like tools to be a good
Yeah.
superstar. It just sometimes it just doesn't translate to TV, and that could be the way he's booked, and it could be other stuff they do with him. But yeah,
Well, they're booking him pretty good here. They're building a whole crew around him. AOP is an impressive looking team. Again, a team that Triple H probably likes from back in the day, Black and Gold. And I think there's definitely a spot for AOP on a WWE roster. And sticking them with Karrion Cross is interesting, but I don't think they have like
Mhm.
natural charisma or natural connection. Again, is that Cross or is that them? I might lean Cross. And then they bring in Paul Ellering, who is just seems a little bit out of place. He's kind of like older than my grandfather, who's not really alive anymore. So I don't
Man.
I don't know. It's like a mishmash of whatever. We'll continue to get into that, Nick. Before I get any deeper, why don't you tell us
Okay.
about Nick Talks Everything real quick?
So I mainly make wrestling content. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all under the same name. And I do have a link tree if you also want to find me on other stuff. So yeah.
Yep, I found you on TikTok, Nick. Some of the videos I've enjoyed of yours is Guess the Wrestler, Guess the Pay-Per-View, and Can Alexa Guess the Wrestler? I
Oh,
particularly
yeah.
like those. I thought those were pretty cool. So you do a good job. You connect well with the audience. And if I didn't necessarily see anything in Linya, you wouldn't be here. So I'm putting you over, kid.
Oh, appreciate you. Give me the
Appreciate it.
championship. No, but
All right,
I do like,
easy, Barry Horowitz over there.
and I followed you, and like, cause I saw clips of your podcast, and you have a really good podcast voice, and I think that this could definitely go somewhere, cause you seem to have the passion for it, and you're talking about good stuff, and I wish the best for it.
All right, let's not put the cart before the horse. We're here to talk about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley now. You
Okay,
think we talked
okay.
enough about? You think we talked enough about Cross and AOP? We're just kind of overall, we're just not really feeling them. We definitely see something there, but we're just unsure what it is. Pretty much that's what it is with them. So Lashley and the Street Profits, kind of the same sentiment. Definitely the start. Of course, Street Profits, uber charismatic, uber connection between the two, and uber over. I enjoy the Street Profits immensely. Lashley, kind of heel, kind of face. It's like hurt business, but like old, scratchy veteran, powerhouse kind of guy. Didn't necessarily mesh with the Street Profits right away. Are they heels? Are they faces? I went to a SmackDown in September, and the Street Profits had a dark match, and they wore fucking suits. Like they were
Man.
throwing shit at the wall and whatnot. And I still feel here 7 months later at WrestleMania, they're still throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's more juice than the Testament, but with the Street
Mhm.
Profits and Lashley, I still think there's kind of something missing to kind of complete this whole thing of this character journey that we're on. What do you think of them?
See, I like this group. I like them better than the the Final Testament group,
Yeah.
and I think the main problem is that they don't really have anything to chase. And I'm gonna look at another part of WrestleMania, the tag team showcase. I feel like they're definitely gonna split the belts.
Yep.
And if you have a tag team belt on SmackDown, I think that'll give the Street Profits something to chase.
For
And
sure.
I love the Street Profits. I feel like they need to win more because they're really good. And I do like Bobby Lashley too. I like this group.
Yeah, I don't. What do you think of the name? Well, is the Pride name an official name? What do you think of that name? You think it works with them, or what do you think?
It probably doesn't work with me because I forget their names sometimes. I forget that they're called the Pride, and I feel like if you
I'm
have
not
a
even sure.
good name,
Yeah,
I think I heard him call them that before, but I feel like if I can't really remember your name, then I feel like it just doesn't really stick. Like at first, I thought they were just a hurt business again,
yeah,
and
that's an awesome name.
or the Hurt Profits. Like that's what
I
I
like
heard.
that one.
Wall Street Profits. I don't know. Like you've heard like there's multiple of them, but the Pride's it's all right. It's kind of forgettable to me.
It's too generic in a way, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I think it's too generic. I like the Hurt Profits. I forgot about that rumored name. That's a good one. And then I like the what was it? The Wall Street
The
Lock.
Wall Street Profits.
Wall Street Prop. That's a good one too. So either one of those I would have went with. Now
Yeah.
B-Fab and Scarlet. Eh,
I mean, they're just like no disrespect to them, but like they don't really do any in-ring work. They're kind of just supporting members to these groups, but they don't really contribute that much. And
low
no
key, right?
disrespect towards them. This is what I'm seeing on TV. Like
Well, I think B-Fab, let's talk B-Fab. I think she has natural charisma. I think she has a connection on screen, but I'm not necessarily sure that it fits with Lashley. It feels like, yeah, you saw
yeah.
a few segments of him recruiting her, but you didn't see much substance. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's connecting, but it could. And then Scarlett, of like we talked about her earlier. She obviously married a Cross, looks the part and is really good in the part, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's much substance there. But I think that's more Cross than her.
I feel like BFAB would be a little better if she like kind of like with Top Dollar and Adonis. I can't remember their name at this time. You remember them?
The hit row, hit row, hit
The Hit
row.
Row. It kind of I feel like she fits better in that role where she has like
Yeah,
a bigger role with the team. But
Yeah, she
That's just
felt
my
a part of the Hit Row. You know,
yeah,
she with the Pride or whatever they're called, she feels like she's kind of attached to it instead of being a part of
yeah,
it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I just see her sometimes.
but these guys, this whole match could really, all 6 guys in this match and the 2 women on the outside could benefit from going out there and delivering an absolute crazy, memorable WrestleMania brawl where they're working together and all the recipe to kind of go out there and just deliver a fun WrestleMania match. Day 2, there's lesser matches. There needs to be show breaks. Day 2 struggles from WrestleMania being fatigue, right? These guys could go out there in a fatigue spot, start doing some crazy stuff, and garner the respect and the passion of the crowd, and go out there and have a surprise WrestleMania match. That's
Mhm.
my prediction. I'm not sure who's going to win, but my prediction is it's going to overkick its coverage and be a strong WrestleMania match.
That is a pretty good prediction. It kind of feels like what the tag team showcase was last year, where like
Great call,
it
Nick.
the match didn't really like mean that much. It didn't really have that much
Yeah,
build up. Well, this has some build up, but it just like that match stole the show last year, and
it
hopefully
really
this
It
and
totally
like
outkicked its coverage last year, and these guys could
yeah.
do that too. That's a really good call by you. I'm holding you to it. Now, if it doesn't happen, I'm blaming you.
Oh man, hopefully it does. Like I want it to be a fun match because I don't want a bad match on a WrestleMania card. I'm just
Organically, you get a time or two, you get them, but I think this one's going to kind of outkick its coverage and be all right. All right, Nick. Out of 10, how excited are you for this one?
honestly going with my gut feeling. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Now that's the lowest that I've had so far in all these previews. I'm going to one up you. I'm going to go 4.5. It's not very
Oh
exciting.
man.
I think I'd say it's just okay. Uh, you know,
Man,
but I think they're going to be all right. At the end of the day, I think they're going to be all right. All right, Nick, who's going to win?
I think I think the Pride, they got to get this moment, like, because Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are both likable, good talents, and at WrestleMania, the good guys win at WrestleMania. I think,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I
But
think they should get that moment.
all right, I'm going to think outside the box here. If they want to do something with the Final Testament, which has a real name, we're still guessing the Pride is a fake name. And if they want to go ahead and do something with the Final Testament, they really could use the win a lot more than the Prophets and Lashley. I'm not going to give them that Pride name. I'm not sure if it's true, but anyway, but I think they could use the win more and go and have a little bit more substance with them. Cross has struggled with his feuds in the WWE the last year and a half or so, or whatever, since he's come back. But to himself, he's always taking something away from him. If it's like Nakamura, it's his dignity. If it's McIntyre, his smile, or whatever he's taken away. So I think post WrestleMania, Cross needs to start taking wins away from feud instead of attributes of characters. So yeah, I think that Triple H is still super invested in carrying Cross, and this is a way to kind of heat him up. And either Lashley and the Profits pivot and it makes them stronger, or they pivot away and kind of dissipate away from each other, and the brand splits coming up, and then they kind of break away that way. Because there's definitely equity there in them, but I just don't think there's equity in them together, if that makes any sense. I don't think they can make it work, but I think they can make the AOP in the Final Testament actually work. Crazy prediction, but I'm just
Yeah,
giving you my gut
that
feeling there,
makes
bud.
sense. I like that. I like that take. I feel like
Yeah.
that's the main reason that I haven't really cared about Karrion Cross is because like no disrespect to him. I follow him on Instagram and everything. He seems like a cool dude, but what he's doing on TV, it just doesn't really seem meaningful. Like it doesn't really give you a reason to care about it, you know?
Yeah,
That's
they
my point of view.
absolutely they booked him in situations. They just haven't booked him for success. If you in by giving him character attributes to steal from his feuds that he's lost, like me, it's trying to give him substance, but the best way to give him substance is with W's. And I think that they are kind of in desperate need for heels on the SmackDown brand, and he could be one that they get going. And the AOP are perfect heaters, great size.
Mhm.
And again, like you said earlier, they're getting that tag belt back on SmackDown. They could be foil for new tag champs or potentially be tag champs down the line if everything work out. But I don't know. We're on the opposite side of the field. I think we should have a gentleman's bet on who's going to win here, Nick.
Gentleman's bet. Okay. If
You got the good guys, I got the bad guys.
good guys win, you owe me a 10-piece chicken nugget. There we
All
go.
right. I'll Venmo you the $5.99. If you win, you got to come. And if the Street Profits win, you got to come back and do another preview with me. Deal?
Deal.
All right, Nick. If there was one TikTok of yours that you would suggest that people go watch, which one would it be?
Man, that's a tough one. I'm between two right now.
How about two then?
Okay, I'll use both of those then. Okay, so like a year ago, I made a video on Cody Rhodes, like the undashing version of him.
Okay.
And that's like the first video that I made where I really like spent a lot of time editing it, and I was really just proud of it afterwards.
That's awesome.
That's like one of my favorite videos ever. And the other one is I posted it recently. I went to SmackDown when they came to Memphis, and The Rock had the show, had the
concert?
song. Yeah, I recorded that, and I made a vlog style video out of it, and I really liked that video because it was fun. And I'm going to AEW Dynasty next month.
Oh,
I don't know if you keep up with that. I'm
yeah.
going to that.
I
I'm
think
going to go to some
AEW.
wrestling shows, and it's gonna start a series, and those are like the two videos that I'm proudest of.
All right. Well, you're going to have to drop them in the comments and people will have to check them out. Deal?
Yes, sir.
All right. Nick Talks Everything, guys. Check it out. Nick, I'll see you on the next one, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.